Oh my camera's not on. That's how clapped I am as a fucking host. Hello. Guys. We lost. That's upsetting, isn't it? What we're going to do for sort of like the next 60 to 90 minutes or so, we'll discuss the game. We'll discuss what went wrong from a City perspective. What could we have done better? Could we have done anything better? Were United just too good? And also just maybe the wider perspective of this season. If you are grieving, leave a like on the video. If you are celebrating, leave a like on the video. If you are neutral, leave a like on the video. I don't care what you are doing, please leave a like, guys. Get your comments and thoughts in. We'll try to make this as engaging as possible. Hello, Jake says it's more hopeless than Villa away. We're seeing disadvantage of having Foden, De Bruyne in the middle. Means no width against Real Madrid. Now United until Doku came on. Yeah, we'll get on to that and the changes as well. Hello, Justin. Jacob says we were shite. I totally agree. As part of it, still a large section of standalone City fans find no excuses for them. I'll get into my thoughts on it in a moment. Refereeing was horseshit, says Una. I'm not happy with the ending. Yeah, we'll get on to the whole ending situation. Roger and beating record is a shame. Not too pissed, to be honest. We didn't have that much drink in the end because it wasn't that much. It wasn't a particularly exciting game. So in the end, we only ended up having like, what is this, 4 beers and a few shots. So it wasn't particularly eventful in that respect. But you know, I might as well finish this lad off. Errors unforgivable. Yeah, I totally agree. Stone should have started. Yeah, ultimately preaching to the converted here, mate. Wish could have stopped the treble. Same performance as Lumen. Congrats, mate, if you are a United fan. Whole team was drunk, says the football guy. I think the first thing to say, let's just address the referee. Let's just address the refereeing situation because that's the go-to situation. Now, I agree the City should have had at least one penalty, but that is not the reason why we lost, guys. Let's not try to dress this up as, oh, City were just hard done by because the referees didn't give us a penalty when we should have had one. And again, I agree we should have had a penalty, at least one, but there is no way that that's the reason why we lost the game, as we will discuss. So we've addressed that. Sure, maybe City could have had a penalty. That ain't the reason why we lost. Let's park that to one side and get over that aspect of the situation. In my opinion, let's park that to one side and let's not try to use that as an excuse in respect of why we didn't win, because the game was in our hands and it's our own fault that we didn't win. Nothing to do with the referees, in my opinion. Everyone was off today. Pep got it wrong. Players need to do more. United were better. Annoying, but I'm sad as a guy who can win 4th pro in a row. So United can have this one and enjoy 8th place. It might be, Ethan. It may be in another, but I'm just not really willing to give it that much credence. So that's what I've said. That's what I'll say about the refereeing decision, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore because it's not really helpful. Let's start this show in the first instance. Let's talk about perspective. Let's first of all, again, this is my final tweet. I've sent out many a tweets today, some more controversial than others. I had to delete one of them because maybe I phrased it wrong. People weren't quite getting what I was trying to say. I think that was probably my mistake because I've obviously had a lot to drink. Maybe I shouldn't have tweeted it. And yeah, I didn't word it very well. So I'll apologize for that if I didn't word it very well. First thing to say is that, again, let's start with the positives and then we'll get into the game. City have had a brilliant season. Perspective. City have had a brilliant season this year. We have, lest we forget, it was only a week ago, we've won 4 Premier League titles in a row, which is incredibly impressive and has never been done before in English football history. So let's just, again, I just want to sort of like mark that as a sort of perspective and context of the rest of this show. Anything I'm about to say, anything about anyone else is about to say, We've won 4 in a row. That is incredibly good. So let's just note that this is still a highly successful and a highly historic season. It could have ended better, of course it could have. I would have liked to have won a back-to-back doubles, never been done before. Of course I would have liked to have done that, but we didn't do that. But again, I still want it to be known that ultimately we've won the Premier League, which for me is the most important trophy of them all. So I just don't want us to be going too far the other way in respect of the criticism of this squad. I feel like that's important to preface the whole of this stream by going, look, of course the result is annoying. Of course it's upsetting we lost an FA Cup final against our local rivals, etc. In fact, it's Pep's first ever major domestic final loss at City, isn't it? His second as a manager. I just think it's important to preface it like that. But because I am about to say some not nice things. By not nice, but you know what I mean. In relative terms. In relative terms. In the first instance, I didn't think the lineup was correct. I was quite fine with Doku not. I was fine with Doku not starting because I thought what we needed was basically the team that we saw start against Spurs, and the attacking quintet was the exact same. In fairness, I didn't agree with Stones starting. Thought that was odd, to be honest. I thought at this stage of the season, the whole point of, the title run-in, etc., was you want continuity and you want as much as possible, you want your starting 11 to be consistent. So I was a bit confused when I saw Stones starting over either Diaz or Akanji. I think most people would say that Diaz is our best defender in terms of, the box defending aspect of the game in particular. I understand why Walker started, and I think he needed to start because of the particular Rashford threat. So I don't have an issue with that. But the fact that there was no Diaz or Akanji really confused me, to be honest. I thought it was going to be Akanji and Diaz, not Ake and Stones. That was a bit confusing for me in the first instance. So right from the off, I was a little bit confused. The rest of the team I was fine with, though, to be honest. Edison was never going to start anyway because it's a cup game. That attacking 5 was what we saw against Spurs away, which is very impressive. And I like the idea of bringing on Doku as an impact sub. I didn't think that was a problem. I thought that was good. I thought that was fine. Let's discuss the goals, though, shall we? Yeah, Edison's injured anyway now, absolutely. Let's discuss the goals. And this sort of comes back to what we were saying a few days ago on the Wednesday when we were talking about the whole Edison Ortega dynamic. Now, I'm not trying to pin the blame on any individual player. Again, I shouldn't have sent out that tweet because we'll get on to Alvarez, but people have misconstrued it and thought that I'm trying to solely blame Alvarez for that defeat. That wasn't my intent, and I apologize if it came across as that. I'm not trying to do that with Ortega either today, but he's basically my tweet was just Julian Alvarez uncomfortable conversations, and that came after our discussion at the end of the watch-along when we were talking about it. But that was more a case of his contributions across the entire season were poor, in my opinion. I wasn't trying to, and people interpreted that as you think he was the reason to blame for the whole game. That wasn't my point, but again, I clearly didn't word it correctly, and I take, and that's my bad. I take ownership for that. We'll get on to Alvarez, don't you worry. Yeah, Ortega today was poor. Let's not be silly about it. Even before the goal, weird decision making in respect to the build up. Weird decision making in respect of playing his teammates into danger. Now there are at least 3 mistakes in the first goal. the first mistake is John Stones playing Garnacho onside. Now, this is probably the least egregious of the errors, but if... Oh, no, I know, as I said, I'm not saying it was all Alfred's fault. I was just making the point that he was one of many people. Now, Stones' error is the least egregious, but he does play Garnacho onside. And he's not quite switched on, clearly. So, you know, if Diaz or Akanji are on the pitch, are they a bit more switched on, i.e. the rust? Is that a bit of a cop-out explanation for me? Maybe it is. I don't know. But either way, Stones plays them onside. Stones plays Garnacho onside. But it's whatever. It's whatever. Because Gvardio's going to deal with it. Gvardio's going to deal with it because he's ahead of Garnacho. It's not an issue. It's absolutely fine. No, it's all off. Everyone can see that Gvardio's got it covered and is going to deal with it. But for no apparent reason, Ortega rushed out to deal with it. And I don't know if you guys can remember, it was a carbon copy. I think it was the goal we conceded. I think it was the 13-14 season. Away at Stamford Bridge. If anyone can remember, let me know. Joe Hart and Nastasic did the exact same thing in like the 90th minute or late in the game, basically, to make it 2-1 to Chelsea. We ultimately lost that game. And as I say, it was a carbon copy situation. There was a horrible miscommunication between Gvardiol and Ortega. Maybe, is that because they've not played enough games together? Is that because Ortega wasn't comfortable coming out but felt he had to come out? I don't know what went on there. Gvardiol, I think, makes the correct play in terms of heading it back. Ortega makes that initial mistake coming out because you can clearly see Gvardiol dealing with it. I'm not gonna give Gvardiol a free pass though, because even though, in my opinion, Ortega makes that initial mistake, Gvardiol can clearly see that Ortega's made that mistake. So at that point, surely you change your decision-making process. That's how I see that. The way I see it is Stones made an initial error. Fine. Gvardio's going to deal with it. Ortega then proceeds to make the most egregious error of the whole passage of play. Fine. Gvardio doesn't have to head it over him. Proceeds to do so. Garnacho has a tap-in. We literally give them a goal. So there's at least 3 players at fault. I would personally, if we're playing the blame game, then for me, I would say that Ortega's the main culprit of that. Then maybe Gvardio, then Stones. It's not a good look either way. Incredibly frustrating because at that point in the game, United weren't really in it. The only sort of half chances they had were, well, the main one was because Ortega did a weird thing where he tried to play out from the back and it didn't quite work. Don't worry, Foscan, we'll get on to Rodri. So that's how I see it. So just because a player's made a mistake doesn't mean that another player can't amend that mistake. So again, whilst if we're like apportioning blame, which isn't really helpful to do, but I'm going to do it for the vibes anyway, I would personally like apportion, like, I don't know, 60% to Ortega, 35% to Gvardiol, and 5% to Stones. Something like that, in respect to that one passage of play. Basically, I think Ortega was the main culprit, and then Gvardiol, then Stones, whatever. But that's a freak goal. That's like just miscommunication. That's just a bozo moment. That can happen in a game. It's whatever. It's whatever. There's nothing really to do with tactics. I can't blame Pep for that. I'm not going to try to blame Pep for that. There's nothing that it's not really. It's not an interesting goal. It's not an interesting goal to concede from a tactical perspective. It's just a weird miscommunication situation. The second goal, however, was ridiculous, personally. Because did you see the amount of space that Bruno Fernandes had on the edge of our box? when we were in a relatively settled defensive situation. It's not like this was a quick counterattack and a quick sucker punch from Man United. There was a lot of time for our players to get back into position. And they just didn't do it. I'm looking at Rodri, and I'm looking at Kovacic. First of all, I'm looking at Rodri for giving the ball away in the first... Was it Rodri who gave the ball away for that second goal, or was it the first goal? I can't recall. Someone gave the ball away. I think it was Rodri for that goal. Might be mistaken. If it's the first goal, I apologise. Someone gave it away for that goal. Rashford, it's a great pass, in fairness. It's a really good pass. But still, there isn't really any danger or threat, because we've had enough time to get back into our settled out-of-possession structure. The back four's in a nice line. But, oh, was it the first? Sorry. Well, someone gave it away for the second. I don't know who it was. Someone gave it away for the second. Yeah, we're in a nice back four. And then I look at our midfield, and there is no midfield. Because Kovacic and Rodri have just not bothered to run back and track back Fernandes. Now, I know a lot of people blame Walker for the whole Mainu, should he be tracking him? And again, maybe that's a fair critique as well. And everyone knows I am the biggest... This season, I've been the biggest Walker critic. So I'm not going to use these words lightly, but Walker was not primarily to blame for that goal. I'm sorry. In my opinion, the fact that there is... Just like, I'd love to see a still. I would love to see a still from that attacking sequence when Bruno Fernandes picked up the ball. Because as far as my memory is concerned, there was no midfielder within however many yards of him. There was no Kovacic tracking back, and there was no Rodri tracking back, and there was no other, Foden or Bernardo, hello Staffy, or whoever going back to pick up the man. And again, you can look at that as like, well, maybe Walker should do better with Mainu, and maybe he should. But again, I'm the biggest Walker critic. I look at that as, where's the midfield? Why is Bruno, United's best player, and most creative midfielder, just got free license on the edge of the box? I question our midfielders' desire's not the right word, but I just question, why didn't they get back into that midfield situation? Because I'll repeat, this was not a quick break from Man United. We had a lot of time to get back into our defensive shape, but we didn't. And for me, that was more annoying than the first goal. Because again, I can put the first goal down to a bozo miscommunication sort of situation. That's whatever. Like, those happen in a season. Those happen in games. Like, whatever. It's a horror bit of play between Gvardiol and Ortega and Stones, whatever. The second goal is unforgivable, though. From a tactical perspective, that's not good enough for me. If anyone could please provide an explanation as to why there was no midfielder around Bruno Fernandes, I am all ears. Please, can someone provide an explanation? I'm not being facetious, I'm being genuine. Because I don't claim to be great at analysing games. I think I'm relatively competent, but I don't claim to be great. If someone could please provide an explanation as to why Bruno Fernandes was left on his own at the edge of the box, that would be great. That would be lovely. Shut up about lack of motivation. Are you talking to me, Iptris, or someone else? I don't think I've spoken about motivation. Let me know. It was a... Brilliant. Interesting plot. Arrogant, says Deshaun Matthew. Rodri should have been on beat Bruno. I agree, Hugo. I totally agree. Or Kovacic, or someone. Even Foden, whoever. Oh, sorry, Iptris. I don't care who it was. I don't care if it was Foden tracking back, or Kovacic, or Rodri, or Bernardo, or De Bruyne, or whoever. I'm putting them all to blame for that second goal because there was no one there. Now, nominally, that would be Kovacic or Rodri, one of the two. But I just don't understand it, man. I haven't seen anyone even attempt to offer an explanation in the chat. That to me suggests there isn't an explanation. Because I'll repeat, this was not a quick counterattack. We had plenty of time to get back into a solid defensive shape, and we just didn't. So that's the thing. But what was also disappointing, so we've spoken about our defensive issues, obviously, and we basically gifted them those 2 goals. It was just embarrassing, to be honest. But our attack was bad as well. Even if we take those 2 really weird defensive moments out of the game for a moment, let's park that to one side for a second. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Let's pretend it was 0-0 up until, in the first half. 0 impetus going forwards in that first half. Really bad. Foden didn't get on the ball enough. Bad. And again, I'm the biggest Foden lover, guys. He was bad. De Bruyne, poor. Overall, no, I take that back. To be fair, there was one really unbelievable ball he played in for Foden. Foden crossed it, and Varane Martinez did do well, in fairness. So I will... I feel like I should congratulate United as well. Congrats, United. Deserve to win. I thought Martinez and Varane were your 2 best players, personally. I thought they were very good at defending the box in general. Shut up, Toby. Yeah, we'll get on to the second half. That's the first half. The best bit of play that we created in the first half, to be fair, it did come from Foden, so maybe I'm being harsh on him. But he basically found Kovacic, and Kovacic played the ball across goal, but he wasn't hitting anyone. He was trying to hit a space. And maybe that's how we'll round off today's stream. That is as good as I think Kovacic has been this season. I'm not saying there are some I don't think I've been reactive, by the way, guys, on Twitter. I don't think I've personally been reactive. There are some incredibly reactive fans on there saying we need a total reset and a total squad overhaul. That's mental. But that area of the pitch is clearly an area we need to improve on in respect to Kovacic. Because again, he didn't really, and across this entire season, for the most part, whilst I don't think he's been very good, and he was involved in our best sides, in my opinion, and I think he's important for the control, he doesn't have that final bit to his game, which Gundogan had. And he never will have that at the age he's currently at. So that is an area of the pitch we do need to improve. And that's where I look at Bruno Guimaraes, for example. That is an immediate improvement in all facets of the game. That's probably the best moment of the first half from a City perspective. Second half, I thought the incomings were good. Doku, yes. I still back the fact that Doku shouldn't have started. I think it was a correct call to not start Doku and bring him on as an impact player. I still think that was the correct decision. So I was happy to see him brought on at halftime. I didn't think Ake should have been brought. I mean, ultimately it didn't matter, of course. I did think it was a bit weird that Ake was brought off instead of Stones because he was bad, but it's much of a muchness. It didn't really matter. So the substitutions were good at halftime. Bold, again, correct. And I'll repeat. I'll defend Pep on not starting Doku because I think that was the right call. I think you start from a position of control and you make it more chaotic if you need to. Because if you start Doku and it doesn't work, you can't go backwards. You're a bit shafted. So it's better to start from that position, bring Doku on, then you never know what happens. So I was happy with that. Second half, we were much better going forwards. Defensively, we had to do less because United didn't really care about attacking at that point because why would he? 2 goals up. Second half, we were much better going forwards, in fairness. The subs paid off. Pep made the right call in that instance. Doku should have had an assist. Haaland, you can call it bad finishing, unlucky, I don't actually know. He hit the crossbar from a first-time finish. A shame. Because if that goes in, who knows? But that all came about through Doku. So massive credit to him. because he came on, he was making things happen in a positive way as well. So I was really happy with that. Again, should have had an assist. Obviously scored the goal. Bad goalkeeping by Onana, but hey, we take those. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and he got it on target, and he got into the corner. So fair play, Doku. Obviously, as I say, he got the goal, and he deserved the goal based on his performance, because he was probably our best player across the whole 90 minutes. But this is my biggest grievance with the entire... This, for me, was a bigger issue than whatever lineup mistakes, whatever happened in the first half in respect of the goals. And I'm going to stand by this, and I'm going to double down on it, I'm going to triple down on it, and I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry, but bringing on Alvarez was a mistake. Unless De Bruyne was injured, and someone said, to be fair, someone tweeted saying that he's apparently injured. And if he was injured... then fair enough. I'm not going to, basically everything I say from this point is null and void. You can switch off if he's injured because, fine. But what did we think that bringing on Alvarez was going to do? Like, because he wasn't brought on as a swap for Haaland. So he was brought on in the midfield. And as we all know, that means that we are now, and again, I appreciate De Bruyne didn't have a good game. Bad game, actually. But as we saw against Spurs, if you guys were here for my watch-along, you remember the amount of chats we had at half-time saying, take De Bruyne off, take De Bruyne off, take De Bruyne off, take De Bruyne off. And what does he do? He goes and gets the assist, which wins City the game. Because when you have players like that who are game breakers, in my opinion... Bar them being a detriment, and bar there being a brilliant chance, a brilliant replacement, you keep them on the pitch, in my opinion. You don't have to agree with that, that's fine. That's my take on it. Why is Kev injured? If he was injured, then that's absolutely fine. Then you have to bring him off. But outside of that, you keep him on. I don't care how badly he's playing. Because De Bruyne is a sort of player where he can put a cross in, he can play a through ball, he can have a long shot, and he scores, or whatever. He can be shit for 89 minutes, but you know what he might offer you in that 1 minute. So I don't really understand why we brought on Alvarez. A player in the midfield, a player who we know is not going to offer anything from a passing perspective, from a chance creation perspective, from a playmaking perspective, from a link-up, hold-up perspective. The one thing that Alvarez will offer, in fairness to him, is obviously off-ball work, which is a bare minimum, but the primary thing he offers is the late runs and the off-ball runs, in fairness. And maybe you could say that, well, he got into a good chance, so that sort of vindicates Pep's decision, so it's whatever. Maybe that's the correct thing, but Alvarez has struggled this season. So I was not going to... So when he got into that position, I was not going to bank on him to score. And for me, that's a good chance to score. I don't care if it's with his weak foot. A striker should be getting that on target. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. And he didn't. And it was poor, to be honest. But my main issue with him is it wasn't just this game. It's more the story of this season. Like, this is nothing new, to be honest. And it was compounded at the end where it's like the 96th minute, and you absolutely... It's last chance saloon. You've got to try to go for one last attack. And he just gives the ball away or gave a foul away or something. I had to turn the stream off because I was just so annoyed. As I said, I can't remember the exact situation. It was like the 96th minute. And again, last chance saloon. Get the ball back. Pop it into the box. You never know. Unlikely we'll do something, but you never know. He just gave it away. And gave away a foul. And I think maybe got booked in the end as well. It was very, very, very frustrating, to be honest. In my opinion, a frustrating cameo. And once again, I'll repeat, I'm not trying to say he was at fault for why we lost, because he wasn't, of course. But I am challenging that substitution. And I am challenging his performances across this season, to be honest. I'm not buying that he's had a good season. I think he's been poor this year. I don't care that he got goals and assists at the start. His performances were not that good. So that was my whole message post-match. I didn't frame it well, obviously, but that was what I was trying to get at. So I don't know what the future holds in that respect. Hopefully next season we just play him as a striker and that's the end of it. We don't have any weird experiments. But the cameo for me, it just sort of typified the errors of this season and the issues of this season. No, as I said, Haaland was particularly good either, but this season Haaland's been good, yeah. Like, overall, yeah. Has his finishing been particularly good? No. But overall, yeah. I don't know why we're trying to compare Alvarez and Haaland. Who brought up Haaland? This is like when... I don't even know what it's like. This is like when you praise Foden and then certain online Arsenal fans say, well, but what about Saka? What about Saka? Ain't no one talking about Saka. Ain't no one talking about Haaland when I'm criticising Alvarez. Some players are too protected, I think. I'll criticise everyone. I love Foden. He was shit today. You were shit. Should have got an assist, in fairness, from that Alvarez chance, but he was shit. And I'll go on record and say that he had a bad game today. I love Haaland. He didn't have a particularly good game today. He was bad. I like Gavardio. Didn't have a particularly good game today. He was bad. So let's not get overly protective when it comes to certain players. And let's just accept that sometimes a player plays shit. The Stones were shit today. And I agree. I totally agree with this comment by Lenine. I totally agree. Doku was the only good player today. So let's please not go, well, you're having to go, oh, Alvarez, but why not Haaland? No. Believe me, guys. Everyone was bad today. You don't need to bring up another player when one player's being brought up. Let's actually talk about the matter at hand. Alvarez had a bad cameo today. You don't have to bring up Haaland. We already know that. Stones was also bad. But again, that has shit all to do with Alvarez's poor cameo, which is the whole point of the topic. So, and again, it's more indicative of the wider season. Across the season, I know what Haaland offers us. And I know what Stones offers us. And I know what Kevin De Bruyne offers us. I couldn't tell you particularly, outside of like the alternative when Haaland's not available, what Alvarez offers us. That's the point I'm getting at. That was the point I was getting at. And again, shout out to Doku, who again came on and changed the game and was very good. And I thought he was our best player. Pep says, my mistake, the game plan was not good. Well, I personally think that it was a mistake to not... I think it was a mistake to start Stones, and it was a mistake to not start Diaz/Akanji or both, and I think it was a mistake to bring on Alvarez. So if that's what he means, then I agree. I thought the rest of the game plan was fine, though, to be honest. Do I think that? Well, no, I guess all issues lead back to that point. What I'm basically trying to say is, I thought that the fact that we had no attacking thrust in the first half, I don't personally see that as much of an issue because of what happened in the second half, bringing on Doku. That changed it. As we've discussed, my main issue in the first half was the defensive issues, and maybe you can put that on the fact that Pep didn't start the right defense. I don't know. I don't know how much I buy into that, but. Yeah. Holland is pronounced Holland in Norwegian. It's pronounced Holland. No, means please start saying Hoyland when you start talking about Holland to annoy people even more of your pronunciation. Right. By the way, guys, my pronunciation of Holland is good. I've spoken to Norwegian people, and they say it's good. I'm doing the Norwegian pronunciation. Both are correct. It's accurate to say Haaland. It's also accurate to say Haaland. Both are correct. So, But look at that. Boom. Boom. I'm going to have another drink. Fuck it. Look at that. Yeah? This beer stinks of shit, by the way. Christ. We've got 166 people watching and only 69 nice likes. Let's get to 100, please, guys. Laser, I've researched this and I've watched Norway under 21's footage of Erling Haaland. So don't tell me I'm not pronouncing it the correct Norwegian way. Yes? Yes? Good. Yes, that's the one, because the fucking symbol above the A, guys. Haaland is correct, as is Haaland. They are both correct pronunciations. Okay? They're both correct. Two things can be right at the same time. I just prefer to say Haaland because it's funny and it sounds like whore, and I quite like it. So you can hold that, guys. Damn right I am, Teb. Congrats, by the way, Teb. Congrats. See, Teb's a nice United fan, by the way. Teb, do you want to be a mod, mate? I don't know how to make you a mod. Do you want to be a mod, though? Let me know if you want to be a mod and I'll make you one. So tough. There you go. You're now moderator. Ship Walker to Saudi. Oh, right. Shall we talk about Walker? So we've talked about the attack. Now again, the attacking impetus was bad today. I'll repeat. Haaland was bad. Foden was bad. Should have got an assist. De Bruyne was bad. Bernardo was bad. Doku was good. Gvardiol offensively bad. So maybe let's touch more so on the defense. I've touched on the goalkeeper. Thought he made a mistake for that first one. Slag off. I apologize if this comes across as like slagging players off. We did preface this show by saying, look, we've won 4 in a row, so let's, chill. But at the same time, I don't think it's unfair to. It's not unfair to be critical of our players' performances, because at the end of the day, we know what this team is capable of, and we have high standards for this team, and we know that we are better than United, and we should be beating them. So I don't think it's unfair to criticise players, managers, etc., despite them being brilliant. Please let's agree to say it's not a case of one or the other, Jump. It's both. It's Haaland and Haaland. They are both the same. Wait, what? Shut up, Harry. Walker. Actually had an okay game. And again, guys, I am, and have been this season, the biggest critic of Walker. I've made that no secret. I've not been happy with him across this season. I don't feel comfortable blaming him for today. He did make a big error in respect of that second goal. We've talked about how I thought the midfield was actually more of an error, but I'm not going to let Walker off the hook. But people saying that Walker shouldn't have started or Walker had to be taken off, you have to keep him on the pitch when there's a very particular threat like Rashford. I know Rashford's not been particularly good this season, but by virtue of how quick he is, he's always going to be a threat. And the amount of, and Walker shut down Rashford, in all honesty. So I'm not going to have a go at Kyle in this game. Again, I accept that he probably could have done better for the second goal. I know lots of people will focus on that. But as I've tried to hopefully make clear in this video so far, I don't think today was on any one player. Not on Alvarez, it's not on Walker, it's not on Foden, it's not on De Bruyne. It's not even on Pep. It's just an amalgamation of just bad performances, decisions. And conversely, again, we gave them props at the start. Good by United, in fairness. I thought they deserved to win. Defensively good, Fran Martinez. Thought Dallo was decent. Wan-Bissaka struggled with Doku, but apart from that, I thought they were good. So we've got to also, again, give credit where credit is due. And again, I think we have done that in fairness to it, in fairness to that point. So, in respect to shipping Walker to Saudi, I don't think I agree. I would like Walker to stay next season, but he's just got to be given less of a role across the whole season. And again, this isn't, I'm not talking about, as with my Alvarez critiques, I'm not talking about Walker today, I'm talking about Walker across the entirety of the season. He's not been good this season. Again, I would suggest that he's been our worst starter this season. If anyone else wants to offer an alternative for our worst starter this season, then please let me know what you think. But for me, he's been our worst starter, and that's the issue. I think he's played nearly as many, he's played like the most minutes of any defender this season. And it's too many minutes. LNobbins, brilliant. It's too many minutes, basically. He's got to become a role player. He's got to become an alternative. He's got to become a very specific tool to a very specific threat. And Musty is... I mean, this is hyperbole, but this is basically it. Play Walker against Rashford and Vinicius. Those are the sort of players where you want a Walker in the side. So I would still be up for keeping Walker in the team, but he must not be our starting right back across the season. Again, that's not based on today's game. That is based on the overallness of this season. In the same way that Alvarez is a similar thing. He can't be an option in midfield. Can't be a thing. Mate, says Nico, brilliant. Super League World Cup champions and 4P. And again, Platt Lane, we started the show by saying this has been a brilliant season. We've won 4 Premier Leagues in a row. So we can't be too upset. This is more annoying than anything else. Yeah, we can't be. If anyone's genuinely like, oh, throw the whole team out and they're all shit and you know, sell Alvarez and sell all this and blah, 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 then that's stupid, to be honest. But there's nothing wrong with criticizing. There is something wrong with going overboard. And yeah, absolutely, it has been a fantastic season for City. Let's not make any mistake about it. Alvarez has been... Bernard should be criticised the same way criticising Alvarez. I did say earlier, Bernard has been shit. Maybe you weren't here for that, Jamie. Alvarez has been better even... I get slagged off for it. Not just back 6 out of 10 entities, no criticism. In the first instance, I did say Bernardo was shit today. So again, maybe you just didn't tune into that, Jamie. But in the second instance, there is no way that you can convince me that Alvarez has been better than Bernardo this season. Alvarez has not been good this season. I'd say he's been our second worst starter this season. Again, it's about what is the net value across the season, and that's not even his fault because I did a video about this. It's not Alvarez's fault he's played in midfield. In the same way, it's not Walker's fault that he's played out at right wing. But the reality is they are being played in these positions. It's also not Foden's fault that, you know, he's being played, shunted out to the wings against Arsenal and Liverpool this season. But the reality is he was shit in those games. And I said he was shit in those games. Now, obviously, provide the context, but it doesn't stop them being shit in those games. So that is the situation. I know, again, I like Alvarez. People need to appreciate that you can criticize a player and still like them. I like Alvarez, but I tell you what I like him as a striker. I like him as an alternative when Haaland isn't available, or if you need to give Haaland a rest. I do not like Alvarez when he's played anywhere else. Basically, I like Akanji, but I hate him when he's played in the John Stones role. I like Ortega. Don't like him as much as Edison. I like Foden. I don't like him when he's shoved out to left wing or right wing and is being a touchline winger. So it's nothing to do if I don't like the players. I like them a lot. But we have to accept and stop protecting some players if they play like shit. Again, I'll repeat, I love Foden. If Foden plays like shit, I'll tell you, he played like shit. He was shit against Liverpool in both games, and he was shit against Arsenal in both games. That wasn't necessarily his fault, but it was the reality. He was shit, and I've made no secrets about that. But there we go. It's a thing. It's something we need a centre-back and 2 midfielders and a winger do this. We fix some of our problems. The rest will be tactics-wise, says Dark Knight. So we commit 3 to 4 players, pressing opposition backline, it's been forward, pressing taking the season in general. Well, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. And this is something that I'm going to discuss. I'm still going to do the, you know, how Man City won the Premier League this season video, because it's important to do that. Thank you so much, MCFC, for the, I don't know what AED is. You told me, is it the UAE one? That's incredibly generous. That's a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, MCFC. We'll get into your super chat in a moment. There is a really good graph, guys. We're 6 likes away from 100, by the way, guys. Leave a like on the video. There's a really good graph about Man City's pressing this season, and basically the graph tells us that from 2017 onwards, every single season, Man City's pressing has got less and less and less and less and less. And you might look at that and go, that sounds like a bit of an issue. But what's interesting is that the rest of the league is also in line with those numbers. And my conclusion from that graph was basically that City have basically been being more cautious and are not willing to overly commit to an aggressive press and are more happy to rely on their individual defenders, which I actually think is probably the correct call. Because we do, I mean, normally, because we do have some great box defenders like Ruben Diaz, for example. Obviously, they weren't on the pitch. But I don't think the pressing's necessarily an issue. That's a correlation we've seen across the league, and it's a correlation we've been seeing with Man City for the past 6 or 7 or so years. So I don't personally see that as an issue. HK says, not a big fan of Alvarez. We need another attacking midfielder. Again, I like Alvarez a lot, but I like him as a striker. I don't like him as a midfielder. He's crap as a mid. I'm sorry, I'm going to say he's not a mid. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. But he is crap as a midfielder. In the same way that Foden would be crap at left back. It's not his fault, but he is. It's a thing. Bringing Frimpong, hell no. Don't feel the troll. I don't know, man. No, I feel like I've been getting a lot wrong in recent weeks and months. Maybe I'm just horribly wrong. I'm totally willing to be proven wrong. Everyone was shit. Everyone was shit. Apart from Doku. Nice Umbreon, by the way. Thank you for the super chat, MCFC. Great, incredibly generous of you. Is what it is today. Still a fantastic season. I really want to hear Bruno Guimaraes news. You and me both, mate. 9% of our problem. Yeah, I totally agree. And I'll be doing a video on why he solves our problems as well. I think I've got to do that at this point. Definitely. This Man United game reminded me of Real Madrid, where all they did was clog up the central zones because he had no width till Doku. Yes, and that is definitely something we have struggled with this season. But again, what I would say is that don't worry, we'll get into Alf. Don't you worry. I'm trying to do all the comments. But it worked when Doku came on. It did work. It wouldn't surprise me if we maybe saw another wide player signing. Excuse me. Guys, we're still not at 100 likes. What is that? What are we at? There's 160 people watching, and we're only at 95 likes. Not good enough, guys. Come on. Let's get up to over 100 likes. Come on. Come on, boys. 96. 4 more. Come on. Come on, guys. Hit the like button. Only 4 away from getting to 100. This is how we grow the channel. This is how more people see this stream and indeed all my other videos. If you like me, like the video. I've gone off the video again. I'm such an intelligent, wise boy. There we go. Thank you, guys. As soon as I say that, we get 10 likes. Love that from you guys. Well done. Alf, big up to you, mate. There we go. Pressing for the so much better. Yeah. The pressing's not been... The pressing wasn't the issue today. As we've discussed, the issues were weird, isolated defensive mistakes. Weird weird midfield defensive issues, which I thought were past us in terms of just there being no midfield. And then ultimately, you could even tack onto that what has been the story of our season, which has been bad finishing. Foden should have done better with one of those chances. Haaland hit the crossbar. Player of his quality should score it. A number of chances. You could even say like the long shots from like a Walker. He forces a decent save from Onana. Maybe he could have scored that. I don't know. But that is the state of play in that respect. Biggest pace game. KDB off. Silva staying on. Walker so high. Check about that for no reason. Like a game plan. What was the plan that failed to involve Haaland? Again, yeah, Alf, and it's basically surmised what we have discussed today, in fairness. Yeah, guys, for people who want Frimpong, we do not want Frimpong, guys. No, we do not want Frimpong. Please. We don't want him. Oi, Jack, that's my line, and you mocked me for that, you bastards. You stole that from me. This beer smells of absolute booty hole, man. Only thing booty than the smell of this beer is that performance we put out there. Good lord. I'll do it, Musty. I'll trademark it. We have to remember we are still premiering. Yeah, and no, and again, MJG. We started this stream by adding that context. We started by being positive. We started by saying, look, we've still won 4 in a row. This is an historic season. Let's not get greedy. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong with expecting a lot from these players and expecting us to beat our local rivals and expecting us to win in an FA Cup final against them. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people go too far the other way. Hello, Evie. Some people go too far the other way, saying get X player out, get Y player out, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there is a middle ground. No, you don't have to apologise, mate. I wasn't. I apologise if it came across I was having a go. I just want to make it clear. Like, I'll repeat. Brilliant season. Unreal. I've loved this season in terms of what we've won. 4 in a row. Fabulous. In an off season. Brilliant stuff. I thought we gave a good account of ourselves in the Champions League. Disappointed today. But let's not be silly. Brilliant season from City. We don't need a clear out. We don't need, whatever. I again, just want to repeat that. I feel like it's important to repeat that. Why can't Bob do what Bernardo is doing right now? To be fair, Iptrus, and this maybe goes back to what we were saying in respect to the Alvarez thing. Again, I'm not pinning it all on Alvarez. I apologise if it came across as I'm pinning it all on Alvarez. But if you have to take De Bruyne off because you feel like he's not offering anything in the midfield, then bring on a midfielder. Specifically, bring on a midfielder who is exceptional in the pockets and is really good at low blocks. I don't care that Bob's a baby. I don't care. If it's a choice of bringing on Bob, who's a midfielder, or Alvarez as a striker, as a midfielder, I'm bringing on Bob every single time, to be honest. I still would have kept De Bruyne on, but if it's a coin toss of one of the two, you better believe I'm bringing on Bob, who's actually a midfielder. That's my thoughts on it, though. Sane, no. I'm going to do a video on this. I want to do a video on who we should target. 2 likes away from 115, are we actually? Big guys, 2 likes from 115. Come on. Come on, the lads. We can make this happen. Serious conversation about replacing Pep. A lot of people get giddy the moment I say that, but Pep's made the same mistake all season. Alf, if Pep is available and is going to sign an extension, I don't care how many mistakes he makes, you keep Pep. For the same reason that we talked about earlier, why you don't take off De Bruyne. I don't care. I mean, no. Like Pep is Pep is Pep. We keep this man. Hello, Evie. How are you? Hello? You okay, baby? She's just loafing in front of my lights. yeah, let's not get, again, I feel like for me that's going too far the other way in terms of, again, I'll be critical of Pep. I think he's made some mistakes this season. But for me, that's going too far. That's going too far. Do not get rid of Pep. Do not get rid of Alvarez. Do not get rid of whoever. No. I'm just being very, yeah. 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 That's mad. That's mad. Who is Michael Sanchez? I'm not being disrespectful. Who is Michael Sanchez? But Alf, he's just won us the Premier League for the 4th year in a row, and he's probably going to win us next season as well. Let's not go too far. Let's not go too far. Oh, the Girona guy. No. Hello, Jordan. Big up, bro. Serious decision if you made this summer. Yes, I'd say today was on Pep. A lot of these players are questionable. E.g., our captain says. Jordan. I'm going to repeat. I've been critical of some of these players today, and indeed across the season. But that doesn't mean that you like sell up shop and ditch all these players. Even Walker, I'd keep Walker. Not as a starter, but I'd definitely keep him in the squad. Photon, you're such a fraudster. Do you agree we shouldn't count on Stones? No, I definitely agree. I agree we can't count on Stones. I agree we can't count on Stones, but that isn't the same as we get rid of him. We have to absolutely replace him. Yeah, but again, not as a starter. Not as a starter, as an option. I still think that Walker is a useful squad player. Do I think he should be starting every single game? No. Do I think he should have got as many minutes as he did this year? No. Does that mean that I think we should ditch him entirely? No. I still think there's a very valuable squad player in there. I don't agree with the idea of getting rid of him. And again, I'm a big critic of Alvarez, but I don't think we should get rid of him. I think that would be silly. It's got to be Kevin, hasn't it? Kevin's the captain. Kevin should be the captain. It's Kevin. Gunter as manager. Hey, in a few years, we'll have Vinny. No cap. Would you rather... Hello, Urju. Would you rather go back to the 4-3-3 pure wingers or stay with the 2 10s? I don't see why we can't have the 2 10s and play with attacking wide players. Or at least one attacking wide player. I don't see why we can't just do both. We're poor today, but let's not do too much, so we're back. Yeah, again, Harry, and this is what we were saying at the start of the show. That's what I was prefacing it with. I can't even remember the last time I played a proper 4-3-3. Have we ever done that? In fairness? Have we ever done that? I don't even know. 2018? I don't even know anymore. Yeah. Musiala, you guys know my thoughts on Musiala. Lovely player, big fan. Don't think he's the best option for us. Even then, Musty, he was doing crazy stuff with inverting both fullbacks. Don't even know. Well done, JL. Congratulations, mate. Deserved winners, absolutely. Acumen says, same way we have a set-piece coach, we need a coach to organise defence as possession. It's too easy to score against us. I will say, guys, that I said this, if you weren't here from a watch-along, then shame on you. But it was on display, whether fucking like metaphor you want to use. Is that even a metaphor? I don't even know. Maybe it's just a term, a phrase. It was on show for everyone. In that second goal, what does his team need? And by consequence, what is Rodri's biggest weakness? And that is not being particularly good in respect of covering space in defensive transition, not being particularly good in respect of those duels in respect of defensive transition. That's what we need to resolve this summer. And I think, hopefully, that's what we'll do by bringing in a Bruno Guimaraes. And we'll actually have a Gundogan replacement then. And then I think that goal isn't scored. The chances that we have succeeded this season don't occur. Rice and Rodri, yeah, again, and Fuscan, we were saying this on stream. Rice's biggest weaknesses are Rodri's biggest strengths, and vice versa. That would have been the perfect partnership. Bruno's a similar style, not quite to the same degree, more of a middle ground, but still relevant in that, you know, no one's covered more ground than Bruno this season. No one's won more duels than Bruno this season. I think those are 2 stats. I bookmarked the tweet. I can't recall exactly, but basically the vibe is Bruno covers a lot of space and wins a lot of duels. This is what Rodri needs next to him. And I think that would create a ridiculously solid midfield situation. It would be everything that Kovacic is, but to 11. It would just be such an improvement. Is it? No, it's just some stats, Musty. That's all it is. That's all it is. What's this? Winning the Champions League isn't an achievement, it's an obligation. What? But we aren't Real Madrid in the first instance. And I don't like that mentality anyway. I think that's a really weird, entitled mentality. I don't like that thought process, to be honest. But it might be worth that to Newcastle, Nico, in which case it's irrelevant. You just got to pay the ting. I don't see it dominating next season. But why? But why? Danilo must bang average player. Absolute boy, yeah. Hello, M. I'm so angry about today's disaster class. It's not been ideal, has it? It hasn't been ideal. Once again, I'll repeat. This is more a sour note. This is like, I tell you what this is like, guys. It's like you're in a restaurant and you have the most delicious main course you've ever eaten in your life. And like the cocktails are delicious. The conversation's flowing. You're having a lovely time with your partner, male or female, whatever. It's a wonderful night. You're having great vibes. And then you order the dessert and, you know, that they've turns out they've burnt your fucking creme brulee. And you don't particularly enjoy it. That's what today is, I feel like. The season is the main course. Win the Premier League. That's the lovely, you know, rump steak or, you know, fillet steak with fucking lobster surf and turf that you've had. And now I've got a burnt creme brulee. You know, it should have been nice. A bit disappointing, to be honest. But hey, I'll still come back to the restaurant next year. Next time. Because I liked my steak. I'll just order a different dessert. That's my analogy. I'm glad you liked it, Tab. That is my analogy. So I appreciate if people want to be upset about the Champions League. Sorry, the Champions League. The FA Cup ending. That's fine. But I enjoyed the fillet steak and the lobster. So that's what I'm going to take from this. And the good conversation. Rob says, you got to me, it weren't bad. Rob, no. As I said, you were very good. As I said, you were very good. And you deserve to win. 100%. 100%. Thoughts on Grealish? Today wasn't the game for him. I was glad he wasn't brought on. He wouldn't have really offered anything that Doku wouldn't have been able to offer. The thing that Doku has on Grealish right now is the low block breaking ability. That's never been Grealish's shtick. That is one of Doku's best traits, as we saw today. So that's, yeah, those are my thoughts, to be fair. You don't think any new signings? Oh, yeah, we do. As I say, Bruno. Nacho says Manchester's red. I'll personally disagree, but congratulations, matey. Liverpool's now winning. Oh, is it the DFB Pokal? Big up. I hope they win. I'd like them to go unbeaten domestically. Chris says, we are spoiled. We need to cherish these precious moments. These are the greatest heights in football history. Keep it all in context. Yeah, Chris, we did talk about that earlier. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we need this loss. Now we can go hard in the market. I think we would. I think we're going to go hard in the market anyway, to be fair. New attackers. We might. Well, Savio's coming in. If he's not staying, then we do need another wide player, but I don't know what's happening with Savio, to be fair. Oh no, we'll be bringing in much more than that, I'm sure. Is losing this final inexcusable? If yes, then what are the consequences? I don't know what that means, Alf, because he's only done it twice, to be fair. He's only lost 2 finals with City. I don't quite know what that means. I'm excited to see him, Bendiff, but I don't actually know enough about him. Yeah, Rob, we just didn't turn up, did we? We just didn't turn up. We did not turn up, and it was not good enough. Simples. Do I have anything else to say in respect of this game? Just trying to think. What could we have done differently? Talked about the defence. Even then, harsh. Was today just not our day? Maybe. Of course, we could have approached it differently. Of course, the players could have done better on the day. But maybe today just wasn't our day. Maybe we just didn't deserve. Maybe we just didn't deserve to win. And maybe it's as simple as that. Sometimes it is as simple as that in football. We didn't deserve to win. And that's the reality of the situation. Yeah, I agree, mate. Again, I'll say it again. United deserve to win, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. That's a good point, to be fair. Look, we don't normally turn up for the Community Shield. When was the last time we won it? Musty, I think you're right. We were just a bit shit, and United, conversely, were quite good. We were our own worst enemy, and that's a shame, because I know how good this team can be, and yet we weren't. Yeah, when was the last time we won the Shield? Was it 2020? Is that actually the last time we won it? 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So that's good motivation. Yeah, Liverpool, and that was 2020. That's good motivation, to be fair. We haven't won it since... oh, no, you're right. So it's the 2020 season, so 2019. Yes, because it was the 1920 season. So 5 years ago. So hopefully, I know our players don't normally take it that seriously in terms of being back at full fitness and but hopefully our players take it seriously, and hopefully we can get some revenge. Lost against Leicester, Arsenal, Liverpool. Yes, you're right, Musty. Yes. Yes, 2019 was the last time we won it. I can moderate just by turning up to the chats, I guess, Nico. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be some good motivation for us, because I'd like to win it, because we're getting to the point, guys, where we are nearly. I feel like we're nearly caught up with Arsenal, aren't we? In terms of number of trophies, I don't know. I mean, Wikipedia hasn't got the numbers correct, to be fair, but if I type trophies won by English clubs. Still got 160 people watching, guys, which, considering that there are much bigger channels than me going live right now, very lovely of you guys for joining me today. Oh, never mind. We're still well off Arsenal. I thought we were closer than that. Never mind. We're nowhere near them. We're like 15 away. Never mind. We're nowhere near them. It would have been nice to win for that sake, or hopefully we win the Community Shield. Say with Stickle City, and who do we think would buy it in the summer and leave the club? I don't actually know. I don't know what's happening with Bernardo. Now that Paquetá's obviously not going to join us, I think we need to keep him. Because the main reason why I was sort of happy with letting him go was because I knew that we would have a versatile utility player coming in Paquetá who can also play out wide. I actually don't know. I don't know now. Do we need him? Sorry, do we need a Paquetá alternative? Do we just bank on Foden, Nunes, De Bruyne, etc.? Is coming good? I don't actually know. His importance is over, you say. I don't know if I agree, to be honest. I still think, he's been good this season overall. I don't know if I agree. I know we're not getting Paquetá because of the betting situation. That is a fact. So I actually don't know. I obviously hope we're going to get Bruno in. That must happen. We must get in a Walker alternative. That must happen. From there, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we need to do. In terms of next season now. Do we go for an alternative in midfield? Do we just go for a wide player instead? I don't actually know. But there we go. Over the course of the season, he's been good. Yeah, definitely. You guys know my thoughts on Musiala. Bernardo's been fine this year. Across the whole year, he's been fine. That's incredibly generous. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships just for that. We were doing it on stream earlier. Musty was gifting a membership. Jules gifted a membership. Anonymous got a membership. Ditmer given a membership. Thank you so much, M, for that. Incredibly generous of you. We'll do some shots for that. Why not? Big W's. Big W's to M in the chat, guys. Can we have some W's for M in the chat? I'll do some shots. Why not? I have a name. I'll be revealing it in my video. I've given away too much. Big up to you, M. Shout out for the gifted memberships. Yeah, big W's for Emma. Big W's. Or M, sorry. Big W's. Yeah, we love to see that. Thank you for the support, guys. Means a lot. Yeah, William Ditmer, Musty, FT Photon, Anonymous, and Jules all got the gifted memberships there from M, who I don't even think is a member themselves. So thank you very much for that. Incredibly generous. Big up to you, Anonymous. De Bruyne's getting cooked by rival fans. That's right. Okay. This is. I might go on. I might go on a rant here. I don't know if I've got the energy. I despise football social media because what do they mean by cooked? Like, are they saying he's shit? Or are they saying that he was bad in this game? If it's the latter, that's absolutely fine. Not an issue. But why are we acting like this guy isn't the best player in the Premier League? Why are we acting like that? I don't think I got cocky, to be fair, Spencer. I predicted a win, but I think that was a reasonable prediction. he ghosted in another final. But like, what about all the games that he did turn up in? And what about the must-win game against Spurs that he did turn up in? What about the Newcastle game, which is a must-win, which he did turn up in? What about all the other games where he did turn up in, like against Crystal Palace? And what about the game at the Bernabeu where he did turn up in? And what about the goal he scored against Real Madrid at home this season where he did turn up in? And what about these 2 assists at home against Real Madrid in the fucking, was it a semi-final or whatever it was that he did turn up in? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? It's Kevin De Bruyne. Can we not... Let's not go too far overboard here and say that he's washed and he's got to go or that he's shit. Like, it's Kevin De Bruyne, guys. He's the best player in our history. He's the best midfielder in Premier League history. What do people think they're doing? What's happening? Can someone explain to me? Can someone explain? I guess I don't, Laser. It was just brought into this chat, that's all. No, but Lewis, we have criticised him across this entire stream. Have you only just turned up? If you have, that's fine. But if you've only just turned up, then there's a whole hour and whatever of us talking about him. What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Are we okay? Are we good? Let's say we shouldn't start thinking about what next after. Yeah, but again, that's like... But that's not now, or even next season. Like, I imagine Foden will play even more next season, and that De Bruyne will again be, ultimately long-term. Of course he'll need to be replaced. But let's not get... If you're tuning right now, it's absolutely fine, Lewis, but we've been talking about De Bruyne, and we said he was shit earlier. We have criticised him. We spent like a whole 10-minute section criticising him. And Em's absolutely right. Again, shout out to you, Em, for the gifted membership. The whole team was shit, I agree. I agree. It was all shit. I feel like people are going to... I'll say it again. People are going too far the other way in this. I just don't know why there can't be a happy medium. I love all the players that play for City, but if they play like shit, I'm going to say they played like shit. But some people have weird agendas against certain players or think that one bad game equals we must sell and we must get rid. That is silly, chaps and chapettes. That is silly. So, yeah. Branthwaite. We should not be linked to Branthwaite. I don't understand that. I love Branthwaite. But he's not what we need. He's not what we need. We don't need a left-sided centre-back. Prodigal says, we've got to say goodbye to Stones, Walker and Bernardo. I'd be up for giving Bernardo if he wants to stay. Stones and Walker, I think, should stay. But Walker's got to be given less of an important role. And Stones clearly can't be relied upon long term. We need to get Yankuto in for the right back. Isn't Yankuto incredibly awful defensively, though? Hello, Ali. Can we stop the Ortega's Ben and Eddie chat? Some of the fan base run now, and also without Diaz, the defense looks so scared. How we got to draw at Liverpool, I'll never know. Again, I don't really know where the Ortega's Ben and Edson discourse comes from, but hey ho 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 ho. Scalvini, don't know enough about him. I know he's highly rated, but don't know enough about him. Yankuta's being sold. Yeah, I think I saw that as well. He's got pink hair. Yeah, big up, big up. Shite defensively. And this is why, like, people need to stop saying, like, Frimpong. This is why I was so upset when we were linked with him. Like, why are we looking at this man who is literally a right winger? We might as well go and sign Jesus Navas. Like, literally, that would probably be more defensively solid. Pep loved Pep loves defenders who win their duels and are sound defensively. Frimpong is a fucking right forward at times. His current system, it would not work. Ditto Yankuto. Ditto, ditto, ditto. Any right back's better than Walker. The one I've got in my Nitton's a lot better than any name suggested here. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Exactly where Coots going. Yeah, big up. Where's Cancelo now, though, Nico? Tell me where Cancelo is now. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Is he at Manchester City Football Club? Is he playing for Pep Guardiola's side? Or was he deemed surplus to requirements? Was he deemed a defensive liability? Was he deemed as a player who can't win their duels? Was he deemed as a player who wasn't reliable out wide defending the channels? Tell me, tell me, tell me. R.E. Cancelo. Please. 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 Bendiv, let's get you signed up, mate. Thoughts on getting Gavard back to centre-back, getting a left-back? I'm not really interested in a left-back anymore. I want a Walker replacement, to be honest, mate. Savio is him, says Pumler. Big up to you. He also left, but he also wasn't invited back because he was absolute horror from a Pep perspective, Ari winning their duels. Pep literally said it after we won the title last season. He went, we need fullbacks who win their duels. Suggesting that we had one who wasn't able to do that. Comparing it to Cancelo in this current system ain't it. It ain't it. From last week, yeah. If we get Frimpong, I'm going to be so upset, man. Yeah, and he was good for those 2 years, Nico, when we had a totally different system, and that was absolutely fine. But then he was shit, and we got rid of him, and we won the treble. So, I ain't interested in comparing players to Cancelo. I ain't interested in fullbacks who can't win their defensive duels. I'll be honest with you, football has moved on. Football has moved on since then, and Pep's football has moved on since then. System might change, but what if it doesn't? And then we're shafted, and then we've got a fucking right forward who's at right back. You've got to remember, our Leverkusen do not play a back four. Play a back three / back five. Yeah, big up to you, Shay. They play a back three. So unless you're saying that we are going to go to a back three system, which we have never done under Pep, out of possession, this has never happened. Are we going to do this to accommodate one player? I don't think so. So no, get Frimpong away from my club immediately. I like DeMarco, but again, he's more of a wing back mostly. He's more I guess he's more solid defensively, but my main issue with him, he plays in the back three, back five. There we go. You can't even name one right back. I can, Nitin. I have the name. I'm not going to tell you. It'll be revealed in my video. But trust me, guys, it's a very good choice. I'd love Gusto, to be honest. I would love him. I would adore that situation. Can I get Frimpong and use alternative Walker defending? No, but again, Frimpong doesn't defend as a right back. So what you're looking at there is a massive liability. You know what? I've never been to one parade ever. No, you'll find out. You'll find out who it is. Don't you worry about it. You can wait. You can wait. If you guess it now, I'm not going to say who it is either, by the way. I tell you what, guys. If Gusto could happen, he'd be number one. It ain't happening. Sadly, it ain't happening. It's a shame. Fremont isn't even a right back, because he's a winger. Yeah, exactly, Alf. Can you talk about why we look so open during opposition counter attacks? So, Salvation, we touched on it before. It's basically because Rodri does not have enough midfield defensive support. And what we need in midfield is a dual winner / distance coverer, space eater. That is what Rice would have been That is probably what Bellingham would have been. Maybe even would have been what Paquetá could have been. Probably not. But that, I tell you who that is. That is Bruno Guimaraes. That is who that is. That is who that is. It's Bruno Guimaraes. So that's why we need him. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Thank you for the super chat. Pep can make it up to City as a 3-year contract. Yeah, big up, big up. I don't like Hakimi personally. I think he's shit. Shit's a harsh word. I said it anyway, I don't care. He's not shit, I'm going to say it. I take to embrace yourself because mail links and connects to Frimpong. Hey, if we get Frimpong, then I'll try to look into it. No, Jack, you can't. If we get Frimpong, I'll be behind the signing because that would tell me that Pep's asked for him and he obviously knows a lot more than me. But I would be lying to you if I told you that I'm excited at the prospect of getting a winger as a right back. I'll be so real with you guys right now. I'll be so real with you. I do not... Again, I might as well go and sign Jesus Navas for all the good it would do from a defensive standpoint. I don't know how Bruno G changes the game because someone would have been there for that second goal, Lewis. That's why. Cooler says, you are cool. I'd be fuming at Pep if I were you. I'm not fuming at Pep. I do think he made some errors, but I don't think that's why we lost today. We have too many deadweights who walk. De Bruyne, Stones, Haaland. Right. The fact that you've described those players as dead weight is concerning. It is concerning, to be honest. But Nico, Trent at least knows how to defend in a flat 4. At least. Frimpong does not play like that. So, it's not a thing. Again, guys, I do not want Frimpong at all. If you want Frimpong, you go for it. You go for it, that's fine. I'm willing to be proven wrong on that. If we change system, it's a totally different story. But if we are talking about what we are in now, then it's going to be horror. It is going to be pure horror from a defensive standpoint. The players got too drunk. No, I just think that individual mistakes were made. Lineups were not correct. In my opinion, subs were not quite correct. And ultimately, in a 90-minute game, anyone can beat anyone. You've also got to credit United. Again, I thought they deserved the win. I don't know what you mean by they don't run off the ball, because he does. And again, it's De Bruyne. I've never heard De Bruyne described as deadweight. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to see it's not supported in Greece. It should be supported. Can you become a member, Nico? That would also be equally as lovely, if you're able to. If the players postponed the party and getting pissed, we would have had better performance. It's not. No, I don't buy into that, guys. I think that's a cop out. I don't buy into the idea that City players were hungover and complacent. I think that's disrespectful to the City players. To be honest, these are seasoned professionals who know exactly what this game would mean. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that at all. You click the join button, Nico. Or there's a link in the video description which says join here. Messi was dead weight in that. Shut up, Jack. Don't think Cardi Bros wonder balls when he does it 5 times. I don't think Cardi passes wonder balls when he does it 5 times a game. 5 wonder balls a game would be great, though, Surrey. What? City's press and technical security has decreased. Our press has decreased recently, but so has the leagues. KDB this season was dead weight. What's going on? We don't win the we don't win the league without De Bruyne, guys. What are we doing? What do you mean De Bruyne this season was dead weight? What's going on? What are we doing? We're not going to rewrite history, lads. We don't win the title without Kevin coming back. What do we mean? What is happening? We don't win the league without... Right, I'm sorry, Prodigal. No. You can't be dead weight. You cannot be dead weight and be integral to win the league at the same time in the same breath. That's not a... I'm gonna go insane. That's not a thing, man. What's going on? This is what I mean about people going too far the other way, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't... See, Photon, this is the thing. I feel like we at the LNobbins YouTube channel... Smingus, thank you so much for becoming an Ultra. Welcome to the Ultras Club, mate. For you, we'll do some shots. Big up to you, Smingus. Like, I don't know what you guys can... If you guys think I'm talking bullshit, you can totally disagree with me. That's absolutely fine. I like to think that I like to think I'm a nice middle ground between the fan base who just are la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da and accept anything and everything, and they swallow all the cum, and they don't care about anything, and you know, everything's all peachy. And then there's the other side who unless you win like the quadruple or whatever, nothing is good enough, and we must sack off all these players immediately. I like to think I'm sort of in the middle of there, where it's like, well, actually, guys, this has been quite a good season, but at the same time, there are still some teething issues which we need to resolve. Again, you guys can disagree with me if you want, but I don't know what is happening with some of these comments. Like, I've never, ever seen a footballer of De Bruyne's quality described as dead weight. I don't know what we're doing. Again, Smingus, thank you for the support. This is the thing that's keeping me sane at the moment. You're reacting and not looking at the whole picture with Kev. Yeah. Guys, De Bruyne is the best... I don't care if he's in the decline. De Bruyne is the best player in the Premier League. Let's not be silly about this. Let's not be silly. He's still the best player in the Premier League. And Surrey joined as well. Thank you so much, Surrey. Incredibly generous. I will do a shot for you as well, mate. I think I see you on Twitter quite frequently. Here's to you. Big up. Big up, Surrey. Thank you for joining the Ultras Club. Drink some water. Okay, mate. I gave you one shot, Surrey. So it's a thing. Is this the last summer before the new FFP rules? I think that isn't there one more season? Isn't it the year after where they get introduced, the whole squad cost rules? I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's the case. Hello, Elder. We should... Shut up. Essence better preventing keeper. I agree, ID. You're preaching to the converted there, mate. Yeah, guys. I totally agree. De Bruyne is the best of all time. 100%. Manchester's red. It's red right now because you won 100%, and congrats. Genuinely, congrats. You deserve to win. But personally, I don't know if you can describe your city as your colour if you haven't won the league title, the most important trophy, in 10 years. Over 10 years, sorry. That's my hot take. I don't think you can describe your city as the colour of your club if you haven't won one of the Premier League or Champions League in over a decade. That's my hot take on that, guys. You have to agree, it's all subjective. That's my hot take. It's a bit more than that, Musty. It's in the first instance, it's to do with the relationship between like wages and overall cost, I think. But then there's that other method, isn't there? I haven't looked into it enough, to be fair. Wembley's red, Manchester still blue. Big up. Again, the colour of a city isn't defined by overall trophy haul. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Oh, we're forgetting if we win the Shield. Yeah, big up. Can you describe United's Manchester when all your fans... That's naughty. Here's a question, Prodigal. Do you think that De Bruyne is the greatest midfielder of all time in the Premier League? Do you think he's our best player? Let me know. Let me know. Who's likely to leave? Bernardo is probably the obvious one. If we're talking about players overall, then Calvin Phillips, but I'm assuming we're talking about, you know, actual first teamers. Bernardo's the obvious one. There's been question marks about Núñez, haven't there? But I don't know if I buy that, to be honest. No, but you're saying he's dead weight. That's my issue there. Scholes and Fabregas are better. I can't agree with that. I don't know where the Fabregas shout has come from either, to be honest. Fabregas is crazy. Scholes I can sort of understand, but I mean, let's be honest, guys. Before De Bruyne, the best midfielder in Premier League history was Gerrard by a decent enough margin. De Bruyne is everything Gerrard was and a little bit more, basically, outside of some defensive work. But he's certainly everything that Scholes was and much better. That's not even a question for me. Lampard, I don't even think Lampard's better than David Silva, personally. Never mind De Bruyne. He's dead. I just don't agree. Shut up, Elder. I'll tell you, ID. Don't worry about it, mate. I'll tell you. De Bruyne... Now, there's no doubt that De Bruyne is in decline. That's fine. That's not an issue. But this idea that he's, like, washed or finished is, like, silly. Personally. But why was Scholes better? What was Scholes better at? He wasn't better at passing. He wasn't better at scoring from distance. He wasn't better defensively. He wasn't better at set pieces. He wasn't better at playmaking. What was it that Scholes was better at, De Bruyne at? I'd be interested to know. What do you think Scholes was better at? Because again, he was nowhere near as good as passing. He was nowhere near as good as playmaking. He was nowhere near as good as goal scoring. He was nowhere near as good as scoring from outside the box. He was nowhere near as good as set pieces. He was nowhere near as good as in the air. Not as good defensively. What was it that Scholes was better at? Shut up, Musty. Scholes, shut up. Isn't it embarrassing that we have our best ever manager and we don't spend as much? We should have spent much more under him. We've spent a lot, to be fair. Oh, sorry, man likes snacking Fembot. Okay, that's fine. If you want to say it's better than Jared, that's fine. I do think that this summer is going to be a big spending one, in fairness. Dictating play from deep, maybe that's yeah, sure, I'll give you that. Outside of that, though, what else? This intrigue is silly. Well, exactly. I tell you what else intrigue is silly. Does anyone know what my name is? No, you don't. Isn't that interesting? Suspense. Once you reveal something once, you can never reveal it again. So, vibes. You get me. If you could bring back one... how long have we been live for? I mean, guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm free this whole evening. So, you know, we can chill. If I get bored, I'll get bored. I don't know if you guys are. You guys are entertaining. If you could, and very good to speak to. If you could bring back one retired City player in their prime. Ooh. Like to just go straight into this City squad. Like you do like a like for like swap. Is that what we're after? That's a hard question. Because I might say Aguero, but that would be a bit of a waste. Because we've got Haaland. A lot of people saying David Silva. That's a good idea. That's a good shout. A lot of people saying Yaya. I know my answer, I think. Yes. I would bring back 2017 Fernandinho. And let me tell you why. Because a midfield partnership of Fernandinho and Rodri would be the greatest midfield partnership, in respect of a duo, in football history. I'm going to go on record as saying that, and I do not give a shit. I don't give a shit. That might be the greatest midfield partnership in football history. I don't care. Can you, once again, Rodri's biggest weaknesses are covering space and winning duels. Fernandinho is still, for me, the greatest DM in Premier League history. I've not got Rodri over Ferner yet. I've still got Ferner as the number one. I've got him over Makelele. I've got him over Carrick. I've got him over Essien. I've got him over Gilberto Silva. That would be, like, perfect, I think. You would not get past that midfield. You would not get past that midfield. Fernandinho alone, you ain't getting past that. Let alone add Rodri to that. You are not getting past that. In this system, mental. Mental. That's what I'd go for. That's what I'd go for. Let me know what you guys would go for, though. Not disrespecting Makelele, but Fernandinho was everything Makelele was, and better offensively. That's the issue. That's the issue of Makelele. He didn't have that forward thrust factor. Fernandinho had that. That's why Fernandinho is, in my opinion, clear of Makelele. Pabzab. I do like Pabzab, to be fair. Ferner. Good answer, says Brett. Yeah, big up Ferner, man. Fernandinho and Rodri make Madrid's midfield cry. It's not even. It wouldn't even be close, would it? Wouldn't even be close. Do we have any other questions on the game or thoughts on the game that we want to discuss? I'm happy to just turn this into a Q&A. Again, guys, I've got nowhere to go tonight. Mrs. Nobbins is out with her friends. I'm just chilling. I'm sad on my own, drinking beer. Who's the best looking City player? Good question. Glad you've asked. Whatever, it's Aguero. Obviously, we can all agree on that. In terms of the current setup, though, there's not a lot of talent in the City side, is there? Ari, the facial face. I like Grealish. I don't personally fancy him, to be honest. Who's a good looking... Ruben Diaz. It's got Ruben Diaz, hasn't it? Yeah, Greg says Ruben. Oh, yeah, it's Ruben Diaz. It's Ruben Diaz. Let's be real with ourselves. Yeah, it's Ruben. It's Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz is a very attractive man. Yeah, he's fit. Fergie and Pep says you need to refresh to keep hunger alive. Who do you refresh? Well, we still need to replace Gundogan in the first instance. What happens with Grealish now? Well, he's only had like 10 Premier League starts this season, so hopefully he's not injured next season. Gvardiol, Yoshko. I don't think Foden's attractive. I'll be real. I'm not really a big fan of Yoshko. The main problems I have with City fans is their acceptance in defeat. Be grateful you're a great team. When you start finding ridiculous excuses, it's embarrassing. I think I've been quite... But I've said that United were the better side. And that they deserve to win. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, to be honest. Unless that's not if that's not directed at me, that's fine. But I think I've been quite humble, to be honest. Create the best player only using Man City. Fuck off. Well, give me the attribute. Oh, you need to give me the attributes, mate. Give me the attributes. What we talking? We're not getting Paquetá because of the gambling situation, DM, I'm afraid. Hey, I'm big up the Zest. Big up Carl Anthony Towns. That's my boy. What's the Hayes tweet? No, I've not. Big up to you, Elegant. Why does Pep keep on changing the system? If we've talked about that, he made a mistake in my opinion. Which winger would you want, Surrey? Lots of people said Pedro Neto. Wouldn't be against that. I'd just be a bit concerned about the injury record. You guys know me. I love my Basque babe, and I adore Nico Williams. I love that man. I don't think it would ever happen, but I would love us to sign him. I don't think it's ever going to happen, though. Butter chat. How good is John Stones today? No. Just like, don't start another one. Start another what? We'll do that tomorrow, mate. Fancy Pacers win state? Nah, sorry, they're gonna get swept, I reckon. Oh, Jack, I can't speak on anyone in general. I don't represent anyone other than myself, so I don't claim to speak for any of the City fans. Left foot, right foot, intelligence strength. Okay. So who's got the best left foot? David Silva, obviously. The best right foot. Intelligent strength, Vinny. Company. Intelligence. That's quite a broad topic. I'd probably go for Kevin for intelligence. So we can't have him for the right foot. Right foot. Am I going Aguero? I'm tempted to go for Yaya. Yeah, we'll go Yaya for that. What's something else? I don't know, whatever you want. I'll do heading as well. Heading. We haven't had many good headers of the ball. Lescott, actually. Lescott was unbelievable in the air. I'll go for him. In respect of the air. Oh, left foot Koلاrov's a great shout, to be fair. That's a great shout. I love Kolarov. Everyone knows I love Kolarov. He's one of my he is probably my favourite City player alongside Shawnee. Do you have an alternative to Bruno G? João Neves, Ayushi, is the potential alternative. That's the name. That is the name. Set piece taking as a whole. Oh, God. Probably Yaya, to be honest, because of his free kicks and penalties. I'll probably go for him. Let's go against QPR. That is annoying because that was his worst game of the season. That was his worst game of this, and that was his only bad game of the season. In that moment. Big up. Respect LB. Respect LB. He's my boy. 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 Love LB. Another Jamila and 2 young United one. But well, from a City perspective, issue. I don't think there is an alternative. Let's just get Bruno G and don't fuck around. You get me? Most underrated City player ever. Most underrated ever. Probably Distan. I'll go for him. Not the Premier League era. Dzeko's a good shout. I'll go for Distan. Paul Lake, that's a throwback. Big up, man. What could have been? What could have been but for injuries, man? What a shame. Is Rico my Gundo in the future? I hope so, Pumler. I hope so, Fuscan. Haven't seen enough of Savio. I love Laporte, man. I love Laporte. What a great shout. Gareth Barry. Oh, God, I love that, man. That was David Silva's favourite player to play alongside, by the way. Wigan lost worse. Oh, my God. My head was on Mars when watching that fucking game against Wigan. What was that? 12 years ago? 11 years ago? Yaya Toure fucking sauntering around like a sultry swan. What is he doing? He was doing nothing. He didn't care. That man did not care that day. Zabalek getting sent off like an idiot. Oh my God, I can't believe Yaya's performance that day. I've never forgiven him for that performance. Never forgiven him. I don't care about the 13. I've never forgiven him for that performance. I was screaming at my television. I couldn't believe what I was watching, man. Jesus. Tackling. Richard Dunn. Gavardo wanted to bring back typical sarcasm. Brilliant. I love Laporte so much. Which team is the most annoying fans? Right, okay. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because every single fan base has piss annoying fans. I'm sure City have incredibly annoying fans. I'm sure I'm an annoying fan. From my very limited experience in the online space, I think Arsenal fans might be the most annoying. Again, I'm talking about the people that I've engaged with. I'm not saying that all Arsenal fans are like this. But what I am saying is that based on my experiences, Arsenal has been the worst personally. And that's only in recent years as well, by the way. And maybe the reason why it's the most annoying is because at least, and I mean, Liverpool was insufferable for a period as well. At least with Liverpool, they had Alisson and Van Dijk and Trent and Fabinho and Mane and Salah. I don't know if I said Van Dijk. You know, they had world beaters in each position. As I say, Alisson, best keeper, whatever. Trent, best right back, whatever. Van Dijk, best centre back. Salah, best right winger. Blah, 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 blah. Klopp, brilliant manager. And they obviously had a league title. I can't believe some of the stuff I've seen in like the last couple of seasons in respect of, again, certain Arsenal fans. I'm not saying it's all Arsenal fans. That's not fair. I can't believe it. These guys, right? In fact, I tweeted about one today. It's that James Arsenal fan, man. I can't tell if it's a character or if he actually believes what he says. But this guy, like, in like the aftermath of City losing against United in today's final, decides to like quote tweet like the Rodri interview where he basically said, from his perspective, Arsenal had a weak mentality. Unless his perspective, it's irrelevant what you think. He used that as motivation, and it worked. And he's used that and he's almost used that as a, yeah, showed you, haven't we? Bitch! What did you win? Oh, I'm sorry, you won a fucking plate. Well fucking done. You won a fucking plate thanks to a deflected effort and a penalty shootout. Well done. What are we doing? What are we doing here? You didn't win anything of note or substance. Stay in your lane. That's crazy. And again, it's annoying because it's not. I know there are so many lovely Arsenal fans out there, but sadly, they don't have. I'm sure every single fan base doesn't have good representation, but. And maybe I should, Jack, but I like to quote them and get my own engagement, so maybe that's why. Oh my god, that game as well. And I tell you what, guys. Controversial. I don't have Yaya Toure in my tier 1 City Legends. And that game is part of the reason why. And the Wigan game is part of the reason why. And the fall off post 2015 is part of the reason why. To be honest, I love Yaya, but for me, he's not in the same tier as Aguero, Company, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Fernandinho, Colin Bell, Francis Lee, Mike Summerby. Those are my tier 1 legends. I have Yaya tier 2. Top of tier 2 if you want, but too much inconsistency. The way he left the club, poor. Too many poor performances and big moments as well in respect to those games. Obviously, unbelievable 13-14, scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final, etc. But I just can't bring myself to put him into the same category as Aguero, personally. Or Fernandinho, or Gundo, as I say. That's me, though. You guys don't have to agree. That's absolutely fine. I know it's all about opinions, to be fair, in respect to the legends. We're linked to Barella. I don't know why we are not seriously pursuing that deal seriously. Do you think that's a play we need, though, Nitin? Yeah, big up Stephen Ireland, man. What a boy. Ireland is Superman. Islander Superman. Yeah, big up Lee Gunner. That's my boy. Laporte's the best ball-playing centre-back we've ever had. I probably agree. I love Laporte. I agree the stuff 100%. Yeah, we talked about that a lot today. Again, Damon, I agree. But we're not going to use that as an excuse. No, Sterling's not in my tier 1. I've got Sterling in, I think I've got him in tier 2, to be fair. Again, you guys, I'm a big Sterling fanboy. I love Raheem, but I don't have him in my top 1 because he shouldn't be in top. He shouldn't be in the top tier. Obviously, he's not as good as Aguero, etc. Yeah, big up Bert Troutman, man. I was there in the FA Cup final in 1954 or whenever it was that we won. What's the favourite game you watched live? I'd say in person, my favourite ever game is Man City 5, Monaco 3. Is my favourite ever game from an entertainment perspective. I can't get over how fantastic that game was in respect of the excitement, the entertainment, the attacking quality. Leroy Sané that day was unplayable. You had Falcao, Mbappe on the pitch. Obviously, Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, Lamar, Bakayoko. That was a really... I love that game. I love that game. And I know we got knocked out, but at the time, we're like, yes, a second goal. Big up. Big up, John. But yeah. Hello, Brie. How we doing? One of my friends on Guardian Footy Analysis and a Gooner, and she said City are number 1. They have annoying fans, but most are reasonable. It's hard for me to comment because I obviously don't see the annoying City fans. From what I see, we're reasonable, but I don't know. Sterling's not trash. Sterling was very good. For like 3 years, Sterling was one of the best players in the world. Let's not be silly. Let's not be silly. Yeah, I guess that will always go against Sterling. The fact that he's not quite solidified himself in the hearts of any particular fan base. Obviously, it didn't happen with Liverpool in the manner he left. For me, it has happened with City, but for most fans, I appreciate it won't have happened. It's not going to happen with Chelsea either. So sadly, I think he's going to be forgotten, to be honest, but he is one of the best wingers the Premier League's seen, which is a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame, because I really like Raheem. That was a great match, to be honest. Yeah, him as well. And that was when he was very good, to be fair. Hey, that's a great shout, Andy. Yeah, my mum was there. Big up. Yeah, and that's another reason why I've got so much respect for Laporte. He gave his body for this club. Massive respect to that man. He scored, lest we forget, guys, Aymeric Laporte scored the title-winning goal in the 2021 season, was it? Brighton, was it? He scored the goal which won us the title. So let's respect this man. Yeah, pre-injury Mendy, it's annoying because that was the perfect signing. Perfect. Then he got injured. And here we go. Still never gave up. He was trying, no matter how trash he was at times. Yeah, exactly. I liked Raheem a lot. Who's a player that played for City that changed your mind completely about them? So someone who I thought was going to be a bit shit. The issue is I'm quite a positive City fan, so I like to always be confident with our signings. Probably Delph, to be honest. When we signed him, I was like, what are we doing? Why? Is this just from a homegrown quota sort of vibe? But that guy's a Centurion and was very good that year. He was our worst player, fine, but he was good that year. So probably Delph, to be honest. I'll go for him. I go for it's the basics of football, merchant. That's what I go for. Yeah, 089, that's the one. Yeah. He won us the title that year. He won us the title. Yeah, big up Delph. I'll do a video on that. I was at a restaurant when Maine scored against Leicester, full limbs, yeah. Yeah, big up Gundo, man. Delph was a beast. Delph's a new sort of standing. It worked, though, in fairness. It did work. But also, I thought it was overrated. But, well, I like Bernardo from his work at Monaco, to be fair, the stuff. So I was like, oh, yeah, let's get that guy who shat on us. Yeah, but that is not a confirmed signing. And also, it's only like in recent years where I've been properly critical, obviously when I've made this my job, where I've been properly like, oh, is that wise? So you'll have to let me off there. Would you rather have pause wingers or direct wingers? You need a mix of both. You need a mix of both. I've done a video on the Community Shield if you guys are going to want to go watch it. It's very good. Fresno City, would they start Ortega? We wouldn't. Old Black is the opposite of a City signing, to be honest. Who's Pep's worst signing? Probably Calvin Phillips, to be honest. Wasn't cheap. 40 million quid. Bad. Looks like we're not going to have any resale value. So I'd probably go for Calvin Phillips, to be honest. Because, again, the main thing is the price. Wasn't it £40 million? It's a lot of money for someone who is shit. So I'd probably go for him, to be honest. Nobbins. Yeah, big up Georgie. People rating from... Yeah, I don't want either of those two, I'll be real. Favorite drunk foods? Garlic bread. I love garlic bread. Miss Nobbins was so kind tonight. She was like, oh, would you like a takeaway? I'll pay it for you. I was like, no, it's okay. You go enjoy yourself. She was very kind. That was very sweet of her. But I don't think I should be getting a takeaway, to be fair. Nolito. Well, Nolito was only here for like a season, so it's chill. Alf, this guy, man. I'm not gonna lie, mate, I don't have any thoughts on Xavi Simons. If we get more linked to him, I will get some thoughts. Why is All Black... Why is All Black City's the most opposite signing? Oh, just because he's a goalkeeper from a bygone era. He's a goalkeeper who is more obsessed with... Sorry, more concerned with... stopping shots than preventing them. He's not a modern keeper in that sense. Angelino was cheap, wasn't he? He was cheap. Yes, we need a right back. Yeah, Phillips is crazy. Where was Phil? He had a bad game today, low Tims. Can't lie to you. As did everyone apart from Doku. Assis, let's calm down with the spam. You're more than welcome to stay. But calm down with the spam, yeah? We've been live for... I hope you guys are still enjoying today's stream, because we've been going for 2 hours. If you haven't, I don't know what you're doing here. Shall I, leave? Does anyone have any other sort of questions or thoughts or discussions or topics they'd like to converse with today? Just because I am conscious we have been going for around 2 hours, which seems like an awful long time for these post-mortems. We've just been chilling, though. Again, I don't really have any plans. I'm just vibing. How can you forget that? Fandeco is crazy. Claudio Bravo. Well, Claudio Bravo for me was a means to an end, and he was a proof of concept. So I don't hate Bravo. I know he was really bad that year, but again, Claudio Bravo was a proof of concept. He was, right, guys, this is how we're going to play, out from the back, etc. So I sort of forgive him for being shit, because again, it was a proof of concept sort of vibe. Get Kimmich to the Etihad now. I don't agree, Low Tims. How could City have won? Look, hindsight's a thing, but the way City win today, I think, is Diaz starting, Probably a Kanji starting instead of Ake as well. That probably solves a lot of the defensive issues. Doku coming on was correct. I've had my say on the whole De Bruyne substitution. Still don't think that was correct. So I guess that's the way we win. And then see what Doku can create for you, basically. Because when you're up against a side who don't want to attack, because obviously they've just scored 2 goals, why would you want to care about that? You need players who can break low blocks. That's what Doku is. We don't have too many players who can do that, in fairness. Maybe that's what we need to look out for in the summer. Maybe. Maybe. You're not wrong, to be fair. You're not wrong. Doku versus Grealish. For me, it's not one or the other. They can play in the same team. They can be in the same squad. It's all good. My morning routine. I don't have a morning routine. No, I don't doubt that Doku will be a better player than Grealish long term. No doubt about that. He looks class. I'm really happy with how Doku's been this season. What are you trying to say, Em? Are you trying to say I'm bland and lame? What now? The thing with Nolito is we signed him for like 19 million, like less than 20 million, and he was only here for a year, so we didn't make too much of a loss in him. So I don't really. And also, he was good for the first half of the year. Oh, the stuff. I know my T-Wolves are down. That game was so annoying, man. I can't believe we lost that game last night. The referee shafted. I don't complain about referees, but I will in basketball. That referee shafted us, man. I don't give a shit. McDaniels was fouled by Kyrie Irving. I don't care. We should have had 2 free throws with 45 seconds left, and we would have won that game. I'm pissed off at that whole game. It's not quite. You can't pay yourself to moderate in Nico. It's not quite how it works. But if you do become a member, you get lovely perks. Your name becomes gold. You get emotes, a loyalty badge, and priority responding to things, words, and your name in the credits on my YouTube videos. Pavard. I don't really like Pavard. Who'd win a fight? What, like a bare knuckle brawl? Definitely City. We've got players like Haaland and Akanji and Ake. Even Phil Foden. Grealish is up for a scrap. You better believe that Walker's a psycho. You better believe it. I don't know what this means, Sam, sorry. Can you clarify? I apologise. I don't quite understand. Will Vichero be loaned out again next year? Probably. I can't really see him being given a run in the team. Get me Kimmich now. I don't want Kimmich. I know LB loves Kimmich. I don't want him. I don't want him. No, I think he'll get signed. I think he'll get loaned out again for at least one more year. At least one more. It's probably too soon. Because he's not going to get... Like, you think of a player who's as good as Oscar Bob. How many minutes has he had this season? Barely any. What are the chances that's going to happen? Why haven't you been on their people streams? I'm so sorry, Sam. I genuinely don't understand what that means. I'm not being cheeky. What does that... Please let me know. I'm not hiding. I'm like live. I'm literally live right now. I don't quite know what that means, Sam. I'm not being cheeky. I genuinely don't know what's going on there. Are the loanies and academy guys? Maybe the stuff, maybe. Bobinho. That's my boy. Wait, why don't I want to? Sorry, I forgot. I've already forgotten. No, Anonymous. I also don't like my defenders out wide. I also don't like it. In an ideal world, I have my attackers attacking and my defenders defending. I personally don't like it, but if it's the route we're going down, it's the route we're going down. Oh, Kimmich. No, I rate Kimmich as a footballer. He's fantastic. I just don't rate him as a player that we need. I'm not ignoring anyone's chat, so what's going on? He's too similar to Rodri in terms of like what his best attributes are. I just don't think that that's ideal. That's why I want Bruno, because he's not Rodri. He's not similar to Rodri at all. He's very different. The stuff, this is interesting because I saw like a Daily Fail article. It wasn't on my. Oh, someone asked earlier who am I voting for? I don't know who that was. I'm voting Labour. I've always voted Labour my whole life. I didn't read it because or was it the Tory graph? I don't know. It was one of them. I didn't read it because you got to pay money. Sorry, maybe it was the Times. You got to pay money to read the article. I'm not paying money to read a fucking article. And like the headline was something like, the people around Pep and City thought this is one of his best tactical performances season. Sorry, I don't agree. I'm still strongly of the view that this is Pep's worst season. Now, is that the same as saying he's been shit, get rid of him? No. But I'm still saying this is the worst coached season that I've seen from Pep. And look, that's still better than everyone else in the Premier League. Pep's worst is better than Arteta's best. For example, let's establish that. There are high standards here. But relative to what I know Pep can do, for me, this was bad. In relative terms. But that still resulted in a league title. So, it's a thing. Sam, I didn't get a response from you, mate. I'm not being funny. I genuinely wanted to know what you were talking about. Please let me know. Ideal right back? Yeah, I'm not really interested in him. Not really interested. Well, anti-Tory in it. I'm voting Labour for that reason. I'm not going to influence you guys and how you vote. You guys vote how you vote. This is not a politics channel. You guys do you. I'm not going to say anything about that. I know my own thoughts and I know my own morality. Guys, I really need the toilet. I need to urinate and I need to defecate. So I think... Why am I going to call LB? Leave LB alone. Maybe he's grieving. Maybe he's trying to have a nice beer with his friends. Leave him alone. Stop trying to maybe call LB. I think I'm going to head off now, guys. We have been live for like 2.5 hours or something. I really hope you have enjoyed it. We have reached 172 likes, which is fantastic. I'm probably at the pub. He's a dirty alcoholic, isn't he? I don't know. I don't know what we're really going to do across the summer. I refuse to become a transfer channel. I'm not going to do that. I still like the idea of us. Doing our touchline talks on Wednesday mornings. Given the Stones role that we saw last season, or the inverting Castells, Pep's most creative move has been wide fullbacks, which wasn't even all that. I mean, ultimately it worked, to be fair, but yeah, it's not exceptional. Guys, if you're watching the show and if you enjoy my content, I need everyone here to do me a solid favor, and it's free. Why is my keyboard not working? Hello? There's still over 100 people here. Go and follow my Twitch. It's free. We just do more streams over there than YouTube. We do gaming specific streams as well. Click that link right now. I want everyone watching right now who isn't already following to click that link and go follow the Twitch. Because if you enjoy this content, you'll enjoy all the other content. What kind of games? All sorts of games. Yesterday we played Pokemon Showdown. We've been playing Football Manager. Tomorrow we're going to play a Telltale game, Wolf Among Us, a story game. It's a great time. And again, it's all about... so I've been active in over a year. I was live. I was literally live yesterday. So I don't know what that means. I was literally live yesterday, so I don't know what that's all about. So go follow now. Go follow now. Yes? I play games with viewers. We play story games. We do many, 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 many things over there. And if we get more viewers over on the Twitch, then I'll stream more over on the Twitch. We'll do more gaming stuff. So go do that now, guys. Click that link. Go over there now. Go over there now. I'm not being funny. Go over there now and click the link. If you have a Twitch, if you don't have a Twitch, go make one. It's free. And again, if you like my content, it's the same over there. We talk about all sorts over there. Football, whatever. It's a good time. So go do that. I'm going to put it in one more time, guys. One more time. One more time. If the link wants to come up, that'd be great. I don't know if it did. If it did, go follow. There we go. Go follow that, guys. This is the end of the stream. I'm now going to go. And probably go see what my Twitter notifications are, because no doubt I will be fighting for my life, Ari Alvarez, even though I've made my opinions quite clear on that. I thought it was quite reasonable, but that's not good enough for some people. So yeah, go follow the Twitch. Now, immediately. It's free, and it's fun, and it's games, and it's more of Nobbins, so why wouldn't you want to go follow? We'll be live tomorrow on the Twitch. So if you want to join me tomorrow, go to the Twitch. I'll see you then, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me.